When we talk about leadership, we usually focus on things like strategy, execution, hitting targets. But there's this other side to it, right? This hidden weight. It's that huge personal burden of making a tough call when there are no easy answers. And the consequences? They're yours and yours alone. That's what we're talking about today, the ethical load of leadership.
So let me ask you this. When is the right choice not the safe choice? I mean, really think about that. This question is at the absolute heart of what we're digging into here. Imagine you're facing a choice where doing the right thing for one group of people, well, it means putting another group in harm's way. That's a test of leadership where there's just no perfect, clean answer.
All right, to really see what this looks like in the real world, we're going to look at an actual case. We're going to follow a UN senior field manager in Iraq who had to face one of these just impossible decisions. And I mean, lives were literally hanging in the balance.
Okay, so let's set the scene. We're in Erbil, in the Kurdistan region of Iraq. The mission is all about humanitarian aid, right? In a place that's still recovering from serious armed conflict. It is a really volatile environment, and there's a team on standby, just waiting for the green light.
And the mission is absolutely critical. They've got to get urgent food and medical supplies to families who've been forced out of their homes by the fighting. These people haven't gotten any aid for days. So the need, it's not just a checkbox, it's immediate and it's profound.
But, of course, there's a major complication. The area just isn't secure. In fact, only a week earlier, a convoy from a different organization got attacked on a road nearby. So even with all the protocols, all the safety checks in place, there's a very, very real risk of another attack.
So this is it. This is the manager's dilemma, laid out plain and simple. It's a binary choice, and both options are just heavy. Option A, approve the mission and knowingly send your colleagues into a danger zone. Option B, delay it and leave vulnerable families without the help they desperately need to survive. There's no third option, no safe way out.
And this is where the decision stops being just a logistical problem, It becomes something so much deeper. It wasn't just about checking off boxes on a security checklist anymore. It turned into this profoundly human and deeply personal struggle for the manager.
And I mean, listen to this. The manager's own words really reveal the incredible weight of this. He thought to himself, if something happens to them, it will be because I said yes. Wow, that one sentence just captures everything, doesn't it? That feeling that the fate of his entire team rested on that single word from him.
So you can see he was juggling two totally different kinds of responsibility. On one hand, you've got the operational side, where the protocols followed, yep. Where the logistics clear, check. But then there's the other side, the moral responsibility, the trust his team had in him, the very real human consequences, and that deep, personal burden of the choice itself.
So, what happened? What was the decision? Well, the call was made and the mission went ahead. But it's what happened after, the outcome and the psychological fallout, that's where the real lesson starts to take shape. At the end of the day, faced with that impossible choice, he made the call. He approved the mission. The team went out at dawn. So, the result? Operationally, it was a total success. The aid got delivered to the families who so desperately needed it, and every single member of the team came back safe and sound later that day. By any objective measure you can think of, it was the right call.
But here's the thing, and this is the paradox of it all. The success of the mission, it didn't just wipe the slate clean. It didn't erase the burden of having to make that choice. The manager was left with this, well, the source material calls it an emotional residue. Sure, he was relieved, absolutely. But that weight, that what if, it was still there. That feeling didn't just vanish.
And this whole experience brought him to this really fundamental question, one that any leader in a high-stakes job has to ask. How do you lead when the right decision might still put people at risk? And that question really gets at a critical truth, doesn't it? That in some jobs, risk isn't something you can get rid of. It's something you have to manage, both ethically and personally.
Okay, so thinking all this through led to a really profound shift in his perspective on leadership. It was a move away from that impossible burden of feeling like you have to control every single outcome and toward a much more sustainable and frankly, honest way of leading.
He landed on this new way of thinking, leadership with integrity. And look, this isn't about pretending you can snap your fingers and make a dangerous situation 100% safe. It's about doing your homework, weighing all the variables, and making the best, most principled decision you possibly can, within a reality that you ultimately don't and can't fully control.
Now this is a huge mental shift. It's moving away from what you could call responsibility as omnipotence. You know, that crushing feeling that you have to be all-powerful and control every single outcome. Instead, it's about shifting to responsibility as integrity. And that's about focusing on your duty to make the best, most ethical choice you can, while also accepting the things that are simply out of your hands.
Okay, so let's bring this all back home. Because this story, it's not just about a high-stakes mission in Iraq. It actually gives us a really powerful framework for leadership in any field, whether you're in a conflict zone or a corporate boardroom. It's all about that ethical note that sooner or later every leader has to carry.
So I want you to take a second and reflect on these questions for yourself. In your own work, your own life, where do you feel that tension between the practical, operational stuff and the moral weight of a decision? How do you deal with all those what-ifs without just getting stuck? And maybe the most important one, how do you draw that line between what you are responsible for and what you simply cannot control?
And that brings us to one final big question. See, your leadership, it isn't just defined by the tasks you get done or the results you hit. It's also defined by that invisible ethical load that you carry on your shoulders. So let me ask you, what is the true weight of your leadership?